You want to defend Donald Trump and wear the Donald Trump knee pads 24/7.
Okay. You have no points.
Hold on a second.
No points, huh?
We have Adam Mockler here just absolutely going in on this MAGA blowhard that apparently had access to like the original Epstein file release that turned out to be a complete debacle. We have this latest Epstein revelation that the DOJ is coming out with. It's completely fishy. It's totally suspicious. It's leading to all kinds of new conspiracy theories. And we're going to let the clip play out. I have some thoughts during and after. Let me know what you guys think about all this madness in the comments. Here we go.
What do you feel about this? A lot of people on the MAGA side of Trump's support were pretty dubious about Elon Musk to start with. You know, a lot of them thought, well, this guy was a Democrat, and now he's come over, and maybe he's just trying to buy his way into power, get Trump elected, and use that to benefit all his companies, which obviously do benefit and have benefited from that association. But now it's gone the other way, and he's clearly trying to punish Trump and punish Republicans in launching this third party. What do you feel about the politics going on here?
Well, I think the politics that everyone said, and I broadly agree with everyone's take so far on here. I think this is a way to put leverage on President Trump, to put leverage on the party as we go towards the elections and then determining the swing of things. Because, look, people are saying, what about the presidential race and Ross Perot? And certainly with the tight margins that we saw in the 7 swing states, you could play a role there. But look at the midterms right now. With congressional majority in the House being as small as it is, you would only need to flip a couple of seats, run a couple of spoiler candidates in a few of those tight races, and you could easily flip the House one way or the other. So what it does is right now, today, is buy him much more leverage than he even had before. And he can do that without even running a single candidate anywhere. And I think he'd be much more successful with a project like this at the state level, at the House level, and at the Senate level than at the presidential level. And he can do so quite immediately.
I mean, obviously, you've got a massive clash of two gigantic egos here, and people used to getting their own way. Do you think, I can't see them really making up from this. I mean, Trump called him a train wreck last night. Elon's been hammering away, dismissing his big, beautiful bill as a total disaster that will bankrupt the country. It's very hard to see how they make up here, isn't it, Jack?
Well, I would say never count anything out. I mean, you've seen President Trump be able to make friends or allies of rivals in the past, and he certainly has the ability to do so, sometimes even against the wishes of MAGA. But, you know, that's certainly his prerogative. For Elon, you know, absolutely. He's got a track record of moving from one thing to the other. But if he sees perhaps a path forward from a business perspective, look, keep in mind, he's still got to deal with the government in terms of a lot of the contracts for his companies, in terms of Department of Defense, in terms of NASA, in terms of Tesla. So he's going to need a lot of this going forward, and I think whether they like it or not, they're stuck together.
He was friends with Epstein. He'll be friends with Elon.
What was that?
He was friends with Epstein. I'm sure he can be friends with Elon Musk.
He actually helped Epstein be prosecuted. He was the only person who was involved, kicked him out of the Epstein. You know all this. Like, it's just a very.
Have you heard of Alexander Acosta, the Florida district attorney who was?
Like, your little,
have you
like,
heard of Alexander Acosta? You know who that is?
You're like, oh, I got it. Look at me. Like, I'm the guy from Third Eye.
You know who Alexander Acosta is?
No,
you were duped to cover up sexual abuse of
Donald
children.
Trump was
you were
kicked
duped.
him out of Mar-a-Lago. Donald Trump was the only one who went to investigators and said, I will
Piers,
work
do you know
with
who Alexander
against
Acosta
Epstein.
is?
This has been litigated a million
I just add something here?
times.
Well,
It's been litigated a million
first of all,
times.
Can I just?
Well,
can I
Brian, I'll
just-
come to you, but Adam, just explain what you're talking about.
Yeah, really quickly, Alexander Acosta was a Florida district attorney. You can look this up. He knew both Trump and Epstein. He was appointed as a Secretary of Labor under Trump and had to resign in 2017 because people found out that he mishandled the Epstein case in 2007 and let Epstein get an illegal plea deal. Epstein was then able to go re-offend, and Trump appointed him in 2017. So I don't want to hear the dude that was brought to the White House to cover up sexual abuse saying that there was, I don't, like, what are you trying to say here? Yeah.
You gonna wipe your face? Can you just wipe that little thing off your face there a little bit? You got a little,
All right, hold on a
mud
second.
on your face.
Okay.
You have no points.
Hold on a second.
No
Can I
points,
just-
huh?
Can I add?
First of all, just to pause on that, I have no idea what the F. I think this guy's name is Jack something. What the hell is he talking about? Wipe the mud off your face? Like, is he like? Someone help me understand this.
You got a little
First
mud
of
on your
all,
face
I
there.
hear the MAGA. I hear the MAGA bullshit detector going off every single time Jack opens his mouth. First of all, people like Jack were the people who called Joe Biden a pedophile for sniffing hair. But yet we have Jeffrey Epstein on tape calling Donald Trump his best friend. They were hanging out together constantly. I've spoken to Jeffrey Epstein's brother
do you want me
many
to go
times.
Through the list
they were very close.
I'm not done yet,
Jack.
Piers, like
Jack,
we can
Jack,
go through all this again, but Piers, I know you've done
Jack,
this.
I'm not done yet. I didn't interrupt you.
You've
Jack,
been a real reporter on this. These guys just want to play politics. I'm trying to be serious here.
Jack,
dude, you were at the White
Jack,
House
I'm
with
a
Epstein
talk show
files.
host.
Just because you talk with like I'm being a serious guy, monotone voice, I know all the facts, I know all the things. Just because you talk like that, like, doesn't mean whatever you're saying is true, buddy.
In your hand.
Yeah, just talked about it.
Right, exactly, Jack. Jack, just you want to defend Donald Trump and wear the Donald Trump knee pads 24/7, but when it comes to a Democrat, they're all pedophiles. But if Donald Trump is actually hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein and
So do you
Epstein
have like
calls
any
him
evidence
his
of
best
this? Like,
friend,
can you have like a source on that, bro?
No,
Give me,
because
like,
the
any
Pam Body
actual
won't release the
evidence. So you wanna-
sources.
actually, yeah, I do. The Maxwell trial, where it was
let's hear it.
learned that
Please,
he
show
was
us.
on the Epstein flight. Why don't you?
Yeah, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Trump was known to be on Epstein's airplane multiple times. And there's audio tapes of Epstein interviewing, talking about, yeah, I was Trump's friend. And, Trump used to do these games where he would like fuck his friends' girlfriends and things like that. Like, apparently Trump and Epstein go way back. So what this guy trying to obfuscate and pretend like, oh, I don't know what's going on. What's your proof and this and that? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
You listen. It was in the trial, in the Maxwell trial, that he was on the flight log 7 times. We have Jeffrey Epstein on
Bill Clinton was on
audio
there 26
calling
times.
him his best friend. So here's my question to Jack. Jack,
And how many
if
times did Bill
Jeffrey
Clinton go
Epstein
to the
was on
islands?
audio,
And how many times did
It's always, what about? Like, why can't we just stick to the point that's being made and talk about that on its merits? It's Republican or right wing or whatever you want to call them. Every single time you bring something up that's just a clear, not even, I mean, kind of a gotcha, but just a point to address, they always go to the, well, what about that? Well, okay, we can talk about the merits of that too, and Bill Clinton being on that as well. That's also, unacceptable and crazy, but we're talking about Trump. Let's stick to the topic at hand.
Did Jeffrey Epstein say
first
that
of all,
he was one of the
that's
founding
called
members of the
whataboutism.
Clinton Institute?
I don't defend
Clinton Global
Jack.
Initiative.
Jack, if Jeffrey Epstein
this
was
all day
on
long, bro.
audio saying that Joe Biden was his best friend, that wouldn't concern you at all.
Man, these are
all
like
you do is
2016
deflect and you
talking
talk
points.
about other
Like, do you
people.
guys have anything new? Do you?
I mean, my
anything new
line
about this?
Why
about
won't
the
they release the
Epstein,
files?
but my line about the
Anything
Epstein
new?
circle of famous friends is, to me, that there's a clear line before his initial conviction, which was a complete stitch up in his favor, no question of that.
Jack, why won't they release the files then?
Well, hang on, Brian.
Called for them to.
Hang on, Brian. The point I'm going to make is, I do think if you continue to be a friend of Epstein, knowing he was a convicted pedophile after whatever it was, 2009 or so, as Prince Andrew did, for example, then I'm afraid that is seriously problematic. For those who were in his circle, a wide circle of well-known people, from Bill Gates to Trump to all these, Bill Clinton, I mean, he hooked in everybody, but a lot of them had nothing to do with him, including Trump, I believe, after that conviction. But if you carried on seeing him as Andrew did, living at his house for a few days, years later, knowing he was a convicted pedophile, that is different. I mean, do we agree?
Yeah, I think that's all been litigated.
I certainly agree with what you're saying, Piers, and your point there. But the point that I'm trying to make is there has to be a reason why they're not releasing the files. Why are they being so mum? Why is the list just magically disappeared? And I think one can come to a very logical conclusion, unless you're Jack and you defend Donald Trump 24/7, that maybe there might be something to do with the fact that Trump might be in these files and there might be some wrongdoing there, considering the fact that they were at one point best friends.
Well, they've
Or
certainly gone as an administration from full bore. We're going to reveal everything, and it's really shocking. And there's going to have to be accountability. I mean, I had them on my show. They've gone from that position to suddenly, no, there's nothing mysterious about his death. He definitely killed himself. Here's the CCTV footage, and there is no client list, and none of that is right. And actually, you know what? It's all over. And it is odd. I mean, John,
Piers.
Again, John, from with your intelligence hat on, does this, I mean, do you smell a rat here? Does this look like there's been a little bit of a closing of ranks to shut this up?
Yes, I do smell a rat. And I'd like to know why no one in the media is talking about the investigation or the fact that there should have been an investigation into whether or not Jeffrey Epstein was working for a foreign intelligence service.
So that's really interesting. So look, you've studied into this. What is the evidence that he might have been?
He is a textbook example of an access agent. You're, like I said the last time I was on the show, Piers, you're not going to recruit Bill Clinton. You're not going to recruit Bill Gates. You're not going to recruit Alan Dershowitz. But you can recruit someone who gets close to those people. You can give them something that you can hold over their heads if you have to in the end. And then you report back to your handlers everything that they say. And in exchange, you get untold wealth and a house in the Caribbean and the biggest townhouse in Manhattan and a private plane. And that's a pretty good life, especially if you're a pedophile and you enjoy doing things like that. And nobody's talking about whether or not he was an access agent.
Yeah, I mean, that's really interesting. I mean, does the intelligence community...
Credit to Kyle Kulinski, Secular Talk, for constantly bringing that up. The fact that Epstein was probably a Mossad agent. It's completely fishy, man. It's, and I haven't really looked so much into this up to this point, but what the fuck's going on with like Trump? And I mean, we're almost sure now. I mean, we've had like the Elon Musk, leaks or whatever. Not leaks. He just came out and said it, that Trump is in the Epstein files. It's almost 100% sure that he's in there. To what effect, we don't really know. And yeah, just like, the normal hypocrisy, like we have to talk about it. It's just, you have these Republicans, they go on, Joe Biden like does something creepy and, Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton or whatever. And they're all pedophiles. And like this big Democrat, like pedophile circle is this great big conspiracy. But then when you have Trump, who's implicated in these things, and other Republicans, and now you have like the FBI and the DOJ, and they're covering it up and they're releasing like half truths and half files and CCTV that doesn't show the full thing. It's like, and they're completely silent, or they try to like obfuscate and say, well, it's like maybe he's innocent, or they don't have the access to, or whatever. Or they try to like make up some other bullshit story. They'll go to the ends of the earth to cover it up for Trump, but with like the teeniest bit of information on a Democrat, they'll call them completely guilty and pull their hair out. So it's normal at this point. Let me know what you guys think about that situation. Just crazy, crazy world we live in, as usual. Let me know your thoughts, comments, like and subscribe for all the latest fun, in this case, disturbing stuff.